The winner of the Heisman Trophy is Bryce Young.
He checked every box that we had. And just every time we met with him, we felt more and more convicted.
I'm going to give everything I have. I want to make everyone proud and make sure that, we're accomplishing those team goals.
They give chase. Football is loose. What's the call here?
Pass, pressure in Young's face. He's hit. He's sacked.
Snap comes back. Pressure's coming again. Oh, good night.
Yeah, just stuff systematically. I gotta do a better job.
They called him the chosen one, the cornerstone, the number 1 overall pick, hailed as the savior for a failing franchise, but after 2 brutal seasons, the prophecy has become a punchline, and most fans have already written him off.
Bryce Young drops back to pass, middle of the field, and it's intercepted. Throws behind the receiver and picks. Intercepted by Pat Surtain.
But in year 3, Bryce Young isn't chasing redemption. He's out to prove just how wrong his doubters were to question his heart.
It's a super pivotal year for the team. Our goal is to win, and that's the most important thing to me.
Now, in April of 2023, the Carolina Panthers mortgaged their future to move up and select Bryce Young with the 1st overall pick.
The Panthers select Bryce Young, quarterback, Alabama.
The Bears got DJ Moore, the 9th and 61st overall picks in 2023, a 1st-round pick in 2024, and a 2nd-round pick in 2025. The Panthers thought they got a savior to redeem a franchise that hadn't won a playoff game since 2016. But salvation never came. Instead, Young was thrown into a meat grinder. No weapons, no protection, and the worst rookie situation since David Carr was massacred behind the expansion Houston Texans offensive line. Young threw 11 touchdowns and 10 interceptions in his rookie season.
Intercepted at the 20. Young. Ball's out.
He was sacked an astonishing 62 times, nearly 4 bone-jarring hits a game, each one rattling his teeth, bruising his ribs, and chipping away at his confidence. And it wasn't just sacks, it was a constant barrage of knockdowns, throws under duress, and the feeling of the rush living inside his helmet.
25 play action. Young throws the ball. Intercepted!
The Panthers' offense was historically bad, averaging a tragic 13.9 points per game. By week 12, head coach Frank Reich was fired after going 1-10 to start the season. He lasted 11 games, and Bryce Young took the blame for most of them. The Heisman winner, who threw for 4,872 yards and 47 touchdowns at Alabama, was suddenly watching from the sideline, benched for Andy Dalton.
I'm sure you've all heard by now our decision to play Andy Dalton, sitting Bryce down here. After yesterday, just went home, watched the film, and made that decision after looking at it that this is the best decision for our group, for our team going forward.
Every missed snap, every failed drive, every thunderous sack wasn't just a play, it was a brick chipping off his foundation. What was supposed to be development had become systemic destruction. Carolina had taken their generational talent, the most decorated college quarterback in recent memory, and fed him to wolves.
He's flushed out again. He avoids one sack, fumble, and now Donovan Wilson's got it.
Young finished his rookie year with the 2nd worst touchdown percentage by a starting quarterback in the NFL, ahead of only Kenny Pickett, who was engineering his own disaster in Pittsburgh. The national narrative was swift and brutal. Bryce Young is a bust. But here's what most fans don't understand about this kid. Like all winners, he has a short memory when it comes to his mistakes, but he remembers everyone who ever counted him out. And in Carolina, that list was growing by the minute. Fortunately for Bryce, it didn't include the front office. Not yet, anyway. But if you want to be included in deep dives like this one, hit that like and subscribe so you don't miss a thing. The 2024 NFL Draft told you everything about how Carolina's brass viewed their young quarterback. They could have hedged their bet and drafted another signal caller. Instead, they doubled down with a trio of offensive weapons: Xavier Legette, Jonathan Brooks, and Jatavion Sanders. The Panthers spent their limited draft capital on Bryce Young's weapons, not his replacement. They even traded for Deontay Johnson from Pittsburgh, hoping to give Young a reliable separator who could create easy completions and build confidence.
End zone corner adjustment. Deontay Johnson touchdown. Pickett to the end zone, touchdown, and there it was, Deontay Johnson.
All of this happened under new head coach Dave Canales, who brought a quarterback-friendly system and the kind of energy that made Young believe he finally had his offense.
My message to the team was just really valuing the way that they attacked the work and did all those things.
Heading into 2024, the buzz in Panthers camp was that Bryce's footwork was cleaner, his timing was better, and he was improving in a system built around his strengths instead of his weaknesses. Things were looking up for the Panthers, but optimism only gets you so far once NFL defenses start hitting you. Now, to be fair, Young showed some improvement in year 2, and a lot of that had to do with getting sacked about half as many times as he was in 2023. His completion percentage inched up to 60.9%, his passer rating climbed to 82.2, and he threw 15 touchdowns against 9 interceptions.
It's a touchdown, Panthers!
Deep drop, Young, separation, catch made, Sanders!
In 2024, the offense averaged 20.1 points a game, nearly a touchdown a week improvement, but it wasn't nearly good enough. Carolina's offense remained in the bottom third in nearly every critical metric. Their red zone efficiency was abysmal, third down conversions were inconsistent, and they kept on losing. Young was more comfortable in his new system, but he wasn't more dangerous. The Panthers went 5-12, and by December, critics weren't just calling Young a disappointment, they were calling him a bust. But the Panthers front office held fast again because they saw something different. They saw a quarterback who was learning, growing, and starting to understand what it takes to succeed at this level. General Manager Dan Morgan made it clear year 3 would be different.
To see him come back and end the season the way he did, it was awesome to see, and it was actually really just a proud moment for myself and, just the organization to know that we have our franchise quarterback.
Carolina's decision wasn't based on external pressure or media criticism, but because Young was finally ready to take the next step. The Panthers have built a roster around Bryce's strengths. They are invested in his success, and they're gonna give him a legitimate chance to prove them right. But that leash is getting shorter by the snap. It's time for Young to salvage his career and prove Carolina's faith hasn't been misplaced. Luckily, he won't have to do it on his own. April 25th, 2025. The Panthers were on the clock with the 8th overall pick, and for the first time in Bryce Young's professional career, they drafted to unleash his potential. Tetairoa McMillan is 6'5", 212 pounds, and has hands like magnets. In 3 seasons at Arizona, he hauled in 213 catches for 3,423 yards and 26 touchdowns. In 2024, he led the Pac-12 and was 3rd in the FBS with 1,319 receiving yards as the only legitimate weapon on an Arizona offense that was mediocre at best.
Field, look at end zone, got his man McMillan. That's a score, touchdown, Arizona.
T-Mac has been catching passes from average quarterbacks his entire college career, and now he gets to catch them from a Heisman Trophy winner. But McMillan isn't just about college production. He represents what Young's development is about. For 2 years, Bryce has been forcing throws and threading needles into impossible windows because his receivers couldn't create separation. McMillan changes that dynamic instantly because he's the type of receiver who makes quarterbacks look better than they are by turning good throws into great catches and great throws into highlight reels.
Now has to get rid of it, throws, and he finds McMillan, who bails him out at the 28-yard line. Quick throw over the middle, it's caught, first down McMillan.
Trust us when we tell you this kid is the best rookie receiver you've never heard of yet. But it's not just about McMillan's talent, it's about the balance he brings. With T-Mac in the fold, Young finally has all the pieces a developing quarterback needs to succeed, not just a few. The running game is finally stable with Chuba Hubbard exploding for 1,195 yards last season, giving Young play-action opportunities that make any quarterback more effective.
Chuba Hubbard, big hole. Hubbard dragging a Cardinal to the 20.
And Chuba's only going to be better when he sees fewer loaded boxes and more daylight in 2025. Rico Dowdle was added in free agency to complement Hubbard, while third-round pick Trevor Etienne brings SEC toughness and breakaway speed to a backfield suddenly loaded with options. Most importantly, the offensive line, which improved as much as any team in 2024. The excuses are gone now. The system fits Bryce, and the weapons are finally there. For the first time since being drafted, Young isn't being asked to survive chaos, he's being asked to lead. And in the NFL, that's when the pressure really starts. And after watching quarterbacks like Jordan Love and Jalen Hurts succeed when given a supporting cast, Young finally gets to show what he can do when the talent around him matches his own. But he has to deliver this time. The math is simple and brutal. Number 1 overall picks who struggle through their first 2 seasons either deliver in year 3 or spend the next 10 years holding a clipboard if they're lucky. That's where Bryce Young is now. And hanging over everything is the ghost of C.J. Stroud, the quarterback drafted second overall in 2023, who won Offensive Rookie of the Year while Young was getting benched. The comparison is inevitable, painful, and constant. But Young's response reveals everything about his character entering year 3. I don't listen to the noise, but I remember who doubted. That's not arrogance, that's fuel. Young doesn't need 5,000 yards this season. He doesn't need to be Patrick Mahomes or Josh Allen. The Panthers haven't finished above 500 since 2017, and they haven't won a playoff game since 2015, meaning Bryce Young's legacy will be defined by whether he can drag this franchise back to relevance. 17 games to prove he still belongs. 17 games to silence the critics, 1 season to change everything. The clock is ticking and everyone knows it. But if there's one thing we've learned about Bryce Young over the past 2 years, it's that he performs best when his back is against the wall. This kid spent 2 painful seasons learning how to survive in the NFL. Now he gets to learn how to succeed. No one's questioning the talent around him anymore. If Bryce can't make it work now, it won't be because of the roster, it'll be because he wasn't the guy. It will be because he simply isn't good enough. And that's a reality both he and the franchise are ready to confront. The narrative has shifted, and Young is no longer the overwhelmed rookie trying to survive behind a terrible offensive line. He's not a developing second-year player learning a new system. In year 3, he's simply a quarterback who either can or cannot lead an NFL franchise. What happens next will define not just Young's career, but the entire trajectory of the Carolina Panthers franchise. If he succeeds, he becomes the franchise cornerstone Carolina thought they were getting on draft night 2023. But if he fails, it becomes another cautionary tale about the dangers of reaching for quarterbacks in the draft. There's no middle ground. No moral victories, no he's getting better participation trophies. Young understands the stakes better than anyone. He's spent 2 years hearing the criticism and absorbing the doubt, but he's also spent 2 years learning, growing, and preparing for exactly this moment. The moment when potential either becomes reality or becomes regret. After 24 months of questions, Young finally gets the chance to provide answers. So now you tell us, is this the year Bryce Young proves he's a franchise quarterback, or are the Panthers already eyeing his replacement? Drop your take in the comments section below, and if you're fascinated by make or break seasons, franchise quarterbacks fighting for their careers, and the brutal reality of NFL expectations, hit that subscribe button and join the Snap Count community. Because sometimes the most compelling stories aren't about success, they're about survival, and Bryce Young's NFL survival depends entirely on what happens next.